All right, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. I will say this is a lovely day in which the Most High Yah has made, and I, Sister Deborah, shall rest therein. Just coming today with a really beautiful message. And I want to let you know this up front. This message is not for you if you are not one of the elect of the Most High Yah that's called in the body of Hamashiach. This message is not for you. So if you want to, at this point, move on, move on. This is a lesson to really enhance those that are called in the body of Hamashiach to work within the body, not to control the body, not to be the overseer of the body, or overstep your boundaries. This is just a message, a wonderful message, and this most likely will be the main message that I would ever put out that will remain as long as this site is up. This is one message that I really desire to remain as long as this site is YouTube is up. Okay, now I'm going to try to take it slow. So if you only have 5, 10, 15 minutes, go to the next video and keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to take it slow, and I'm going to let the Most High Yah lead me in this lesson to give it to someone who still yet battles with the fact that we are a people, the tribe of Judah and the whole house of Israel, that has not been trustworthy to really take the biblical word forth as the Most High has given it to us. We're to take it as He has given it to us and apply it. But we are a nation that refuse to do it the way the Most High Yah has spoke it and how His heart has led us to do. We still yet are identical to our forefathers. And from what it appeared, we have gone way and beyond the ways of our forefathers to displease the Most High Yah. I want to let you know this topic in this study would be based on, would be titled, Who Said a Woman Shall Not Speak? Who said that? So I'm going to, I might not title it that long, but I will make it, this here whole lesson is going to cover a woman that having to speak and has the right and the authority from the Most High Yah to do so. And that a lot of things has been hidden, just as much as many of the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah has spoken, that someone has taken books from them, that has hidden so much from them. But me being a prophetess in the wilderness and being a student of the Most High Yah Spirit, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, He has taught me so much of how we as a nation has been a great big liar within ourselves. And that nothing was ever taken from us or hidden from us. It's just where our heart was from our forefathers level all the way up into the level of where our hearts are from our fathers today. A lot of mystery in this, but if it had not been for being up under the Ruach HaKodesh for so long and just taking hold of everything He's teaching me and showing me in the biblical, I'm telling you, I will be lost without a cause, like most women today are, 99.9. And most people that belong in the body of Hamashiach, they're lost without a cause. Why? Because they have gotten up under the ones that were manipulating and liars back then to get this word to line up with them in the way that they felt and the way that they thought and the way that they taught things. They wanted you to fall up under them. But what I'm gonna tell you something Spirit told me this morning. I got up at 3:30 because I just so happened to look at my phone, and I saw someone from YouTube messaging me, and it was a lady telling me about discussing with me about women being a speaker, women not being able to speak. And at that moment, I tried to lay back down, but the Most High Yah had suffered me to get up and just get into a study. In the process of my studying, he told me that you do a lesson on that, and that's how it's 7:56. And within that time, he began to show me things, and a lot of the things he's shown me also have been taught to me through the spirit of the Ruach. But he just helped me to really to expound on a lot of issues or a lot of things that took place. He given me the how would I say it, the press through energy to just get on this platform and just tell this the way it is in the spirit of the Most High Yah, not so much as in the flesh of man. So like I say again, if this is not for you, this is not for you, because it's going to cut in straight through the flesh, and it's going to tamper with the spirit of those who are elect that's still battling with coming from behind the closet, whether it's male or female, because somewhere I believe they're not getting it. They did, but what the Spirit was showing me this morning when he was showing me through different scriptures, he was telling me to see, Deborah, they never had it. Father Yahuwah, he said they never had it. And he said that's why they battle with it today, because they never had it the right way, and they followed behind the ways of their forefathers, teaching and understanding, to where they're lost without a cause today, not knowing how to teach the people. So they go back into what their forefathers had led them and taught them and had spoken unto them, and they've taken it today and apply it to what is spirit and truth. And he's saying that it is a lie. So I want to first start off by going into prayer, and then we're going to take it from here. Oh, precious Father, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, I come unto you, Father Yah. I come unto you, unto thy throne, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, asking you to take this lesson, teach it to your glory, to your honor. Father Yah, I want to say that you are the excellent one, Father Yah. You are the great one. You are the perfect one. You are the good one. Father Yah, you are the powerfulest one. You are the all-knowing one. You are the most knowledgeable one. You are all understand, Father, all understanding one. Father Yah, you are the kind one, the merciful one, the gracious one. Father Yah, we want to just thank you for your Holy Spirit that has been an excellent teacher and a revealer. Father Yah, we just want to say thank you for being all that you are and all that thou shalt be in the days to come. Father, we want to trust in you and lead not to our own understanding, and know that thou has a path that thou has drawn up for us to walk therein. Father, lead us. Help us not to lead to our own understanding. Renew our mind daily. Put in us a pure heart that we may serve and worship thee, Father Yahuwah. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we give you all praise. We give you all glory. We give you all honor. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we come unto you, Father Yah. Amen. All right. Now, we're going to start in the book. If you want to, I'll give you a minute to get you paper and pencil. And I hope that this message break through a lot of barriers. And it might not, but it might. With me, I'm still hung up on what Yah says to me. He says, speak it, Deborah, for it has gone to the wind. Meaning that if it's just one ear that's going to take heed to this full lesson, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. To who? To the Most High Yah. And when he tells me that, I don't. It's not. I'm not going to get caught up in subscribers or likes. That's not what Sister Deborah is here for. What Sister Deborah is here for is to give you what the Most High gives me from His Spirit, what He whispered into my spirit. I speak it unto thy spirit. Now, we have more on these platforms taking heed that don't have the ear to hear. And I fully understand that. But I am speaking to he that has an ear, that are elect from the Most High Yah for the body of Hamashiach. And I want to say we're going to start off in Luke. We're going to start off Luke 19. Luke 19. Okay, and we're going to 19. We're going to go, the main verse is 40, but we're going to start off Luke 19 and verse 39. I'm hoping that this here will be one lesson that will remain, even when all my messages or videos are gone. This is the one that I hope that will remain. Okay, verses chapter 19. We're going to start with verse 39, and it reads, "And some of the Pharisees from among the multitude said unto him, Master, rebuke thy disciples." Now, these are the Pharisees. These were some of the Pharisees in the multitude. The multitude was present before Yeshua. And they were asking the Pharisees him to rebuke the disciples. Okay? But here in verse 40, just hear what Yeshua said. "And he answered and said unto them, I tell you that if these shall hold their peace," that means if they have to shut up, guess what happens? The stones would immediately cry out. Now, I want to read that again. And Yeshua had said this to them after they was asking him to rebuke his disciples. "I tell you," this is what Yeshua is telling them, "if these," which is his disciples, "shall hold their peace," means shut up, okay, "the stones would immediately cry out." See, I want you all out there to understand. You have 99.9 men in the Hebrew Israelite movement that has a spirit upon them that women should keep silent. They should be quiet. They should sit over in somebody's corner. If Yeshua tells the Pharisees, if the disciples keep quiet, the what? The stones. Now tell me, the stones would do what? Would immediately cry out. Stones, you guys. But yet a woman that he created out of a man should just keep silent, quiet. And they use this tactics, exalting herself above a man. That is a spirit, and it is a very, very heavy demonic spirit. That's what the Most High God told me, and he told me that longer than a year ago, because I was confused with that spirit. Because it is very confusing. Based on the biblical, you know that it's something wrong with that. It's because he explained to me that they have went into this book and took what came out of the mouth of man and made it the mouth of Yah. And you know what he told me today? That blew my mind. Something he ain't never said. He said, Deborah, just as Adam and Eve took upon and took of what the serpent had to say and issue sin into sin at any time. I could have reversed that. I got all power. I the one created everything. I the one even put the serpent in the garden. I could have reversed all that from the beginning before anything kicked in. But I didn't. So I want you to understand, just because men has taken on this task and this mentality of the way that they treat their woman I gave them, and I waited to last to give him, because I thought in me, I was really giving him something. That's what the Most High God was telling me. But everything that I have given man has used out of order. So he began to tell me that they have every right to say the things about woman and to tell her to keep quiet because a man told her to keep quiet. They're still living a lie. This need be, is what he said to me. Because from the beginning, he could have switched and reversed everything and got it back on path. But he didn't. Just as now. He still ain't got it on path. He still have not reversed it. Because he has a time and season in which he's going to set order. He could have set it back way back in the Garden of Eden, but that wasn't a part of the plan before the foundation of the world. That wasn't a part of the plan. The part of the plan was to let everything take its course from what he saw in the heavens before heaven and earth was created. He saw Adam and Eve take of that words of the serpent mouth. He saw that before he even created Adam, the earth. He saw it all. He seen it a second time when it started to walk in his will. But he's saying that, Deborah, I'm not coming there to correct them, man. You don't understand how long I have turmoil and tried to work with them one-on-one. And not one time have they got it right. So he ain't finna come in these last days when it's time for him to show up and show out and get them right. No, let them keep walking in their own self-understanding. Let them walk in their precepts, he said. Let them walk in their line here and a little here. Let them walk in their lost books. Judgment is at their door. I gave them woman. And when I gave them woman, I knew I was giving them something that they needed as a helpmate. But they took upon and made her the opposite of what I created her to be. He said it. He took me all the way through it. And it makes so much sense. Because, being a prophet is in the wilderness and crying out to him, asking him, what is this that these men are doing? What is this they saying? Because with me, being a student of the Ruach, I already understand why I'm over here in the land of the oppressor. I already understand why it need be. That's why the hedge has been around me all my life. Is to keep me clothed in my right mind. Because of what? I know truth. I know spirit. I know why these things need be. And yes, I am flesh and I am spirit. But I've learned how, through the Ruach HaKodesh, teaching and the power of the homicidal to get the flesh under the subjection to the spirit, so that the Ruach HaKodesh can teach me the things which are spirit and which are true. Okay? So as I read here in Luke 40, when Yeshua said unto them, if these his apostles have to hold their peace, in a sense, keep quiet, immediately the rocks will speak on their behalf. Now, why is it Yeshua can say a statement like that, but a woman is not to open her mouth? Said a man. A woman is to keep quiet, said a man. But when you are a student for so long of the Ruach HaKodesh, you search the New Testament, you search the Old Testament. When you say of the Old Testament, hey, guess what? I'm searching the scriptures to hear with a spiritual hearing Yahuwah say, woman, shut up. Woman, keep quiet. Woman, don't exalt yourself above a man. When I do not hear that spirit and have not been taught by the Ruach HaKodesh where to locate that, then it cannot be found in me. And then when the Ruach began to teach me, the New Testament, as men call it, is just one book, to be honest. But as the time of Christ, and he's teaching me, he said, now, tell me, Deborah, now, as you read, tell me, can you read it, or I'm going to give you time to search the scriptures and see, did you hear Yeshua say women are to keep quiet? Did you hear Yeshua say women are to shut up? Do you hear him speak to the women the way man has spoken unto them today? Not so, said the Most High Yah. So if I, Yahuwah, have not spoken it, and Yeshua have not spoken it, where is this that I hear it, my daughter? Then what I have to do, I have to get back into the word and make sure I stick to spirit and truth, and not the teaching and the control mechanism of man, because that's where they're at today. Now, here, if Yeshua can say, if his disciples keep quiet, then the rocks, now we know that we do not understand rocks crying out. But Sister Deborah do. Why? Because I know who is with Yeshua. I know who the homicidal is. And he can cause anything to be that man has not seen, nor has not heard. So therefore, there are ways that's in the power of the Most High. From the beginning to the end, shall not man be able to comprehend. Because you can't comprehend rocks crying out, but I can. Because I know who the power of who the homicidal is. And that's no play. But man can't comprehend that. Because they're so busy finding in the scriptures what man has said to give them pleasure in order to who they are and not who Yah is. Okay? Now, I wanted to share that. You see, because I can comprehend when he said the rocks would cry out. I believe that without a doubt. I've seen him face to face. I don't need to sit up under a man to tell me the power of the right hand of the Father. Even the right hand told him, told Yeshua, you sit here until I make the what? The earth your footstool. But yet, a woman was created at the beginning for no more to be a slave, a sex tool, and to shut up. Me and you have failed the Most High Yah in all his creation. And yet, in the last days, you still cannot comprehend. Now, let's go to Numbers. Number 22. This is how he dealt with me. And I had to give this message to that young lady that was on my YouTube early in the morning. She put that on there like at 1:30 a.m. No, 12:30 a.m. And when she put that on there and she was saying some things, I said, wait a minute. When I get up, I'm going, and next thing I know, the Father had me getting up and doing the deep study. And that's where I'm here today. And he told me to teach this thing. And I'm not teaching it to the multitude that's out there that's so used to being fed flesh. I'm teaching to the elects that has an ear and spirit to hear what the Most High Yah is saying in these last days about what men are dictating. Okay, now in Numbers 22, verse 28. Numbers 22, verse 28. Numbers 22, verse 28. And it reads, and the Lord opened the mouth of an ass. You know what I'm going to do? Yeah, let me go and do that. And the Lord opened the mouth of an ass, of the ass, and she, that ass was a she ass. Let me say that again. And the Lord opened the mouth of an ass, of the ass, and she spoke to Balaam, what have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? You see, he's beating the ass for no reason at all. But Yah, tell me what my Father cannot do. But the men today, they are so far out of the order of the Most High Yah. Oh yeah, they can precepts verses to you. They can line you up and down. They can little you here and little you there, and can get all kind of books from around the world and get you to believe. And they'll set it up so pretty, but everything they set up is out of the mouth of man, but not out of the mouth of the Creator, not out of the mouth of Yeshua HaMashiach does these words manifest. And they don't understand that. And I'm going to get into that. Why it was necessary to them rightly divide the word of truth. Because he knew that this book was here, but everything is in it. From every demonic spirit, from everything is in it. But you got to rightly divide me from it. That's where the dividing come in. The word of divide, you'll understand it once I get to it. Okay, and 28 says, well, let's go up to verse 27. This is number 22 and verse 27. I'm going to go to 27 and 28. And when the ass saw the angel of Yahweh, see, that ass saw something. But what that ass saw, and I want to share this with you all, was spirit. That ass was beholding that which was spirit. And that's what the men are lost without a cause today. They don't understand spirit and truth. They don't understand how the spirit holds truth. And it's nothing they can do about it because it's what Yah holds, not them. So if Yah gives you the spirit of truth, then that's what you got to hold on firm to, women. Not man's precept here, line here, little here, and every book that gives them a new found denomination called awakening. Ain't nothing ever been lost nor been asleep to the point where they can't see in the book of Genesis that flaming sword that was lit, that has always been the light to show us our way from the beginning all the way to the end of life. He's always had the light on for us. It's just our wicked flesh refuse to comprehend. Okay? So, in 27, it says, and when that ass saw the angel of Yahweh, she fell down under Balaam. And Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with that staff. See, he's sitting there beating the ass. The ass in spirit now. See, that ass is now, it's riding in spirit. Now you're talking about in a sense, a donkey, an ass, an animal, walking in the spirit of the Most High Yah. Why, man, in the flesh, can't even comprehend that this donkey is right now in the presence of Yah's spirit. Now, how would you say that? I'm going to tell you how deep it is. When you read that, you see one thing. What Sister Deborah see is a donkey walking in the spirit of the Most High Yah. And guess what he got on him? Christ in the midst. Christ sitting right there in the midst. Christ sitting, Hamashiach is right in the midst of this. Just like he was in the furnace with the Hebrew boys. He was right in the midst. Right here before the donkey in spirit. But could man see him? Nope. So he started to do what he normally does. Get angry. And begin to hit the ass. He didn't know why the ass was bowing down. You know what? I knew why the ass was bowing down, because you know what? When you see the right hand of the Most High, which is Christ, you better bow down. You better get down. And I'm saying this to every woman. When you come up under Christ and the Most High fill you up with the Ruach HaKodesh, stand down off all this nonsense these men are teaching. Because now you're on holy ground. You're not on the ground in which man, nasty feet and shoes walk upon. You're on the ground that is holy. Okay? Now, the donkey went on to ask him. Listen to this. She said, so it's letting you know it's a female. Why did the Most High do that? He didn't even have to go that route. He could have just said, and the donkey said. He's sending a message. And the only way you can receive that message is through the Ruach. He's sending a message. She said. He didn't even have to do that. It could have been a he. It could have been a it. But he wanted you men to understand. She said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee that thou hast smitten me 3 times? And asked the question in regards for him to give an answer. You tell me that ain't deep. Now listen to what he said. Let's go to 29. And Balaam said unto the ass, because thou hast mocked me, I would there were a sword in my hand, for now I will kill thee. See that? See how males are in their mindset? See his mindset? Where did she mock him? But in him, this donkey is bowing down because he knows now he's on holy ground. He's standing in the midst of the Most High Yah. And the Most High Yah has applied Christ onto him. How did he apply Christ onto that donkey, Deborah? Where you see Christ? Christ is the power of the Most High's right hand. That's how the donkey got a chance to speak. That donkey couldn't have spoke without Christ being present, because that's the right hand of the Father. That's his power. He gave him power to do what? Speak. He gave him power to do what? Bow down in honor that you on holy ground. A donkey, but yet a woman, is to shut up, keep quiet, and not exalt herself above a man. You've been under the teaching of man for too long. And Yah said, until you able to get up under him and his Ruach HaKodesh with the power of Hamashiach within you, you're going to be lost. Just as he could have switched it in the beginning with Adam and Eve. And he let every sin ride from that day on. He could have stopped it if he didn't want this earth to be sinful, like he really intended for it to be before Adam came. He could have reversed it. See, you got to see spirit and truth, not man-made. Because Yah only let them see limited because of their hearts. And we're going to get there. Okay, let's go now. I'm glad I started that off like that. So let's go now let's go to Psalms. Let's dig in to Psalms now. Let's kind of get something out of here. Psalms here. I love Psalms because I can hear in Psalms, I can hear David speaking, and then all of a sudden I can hear Yah in the background. It's amazing. David can start speaking, then all of a sudden you can hear Yah, but you just can't hear that, people. You can't hear it, but I can through the Ruach HaKodesh. I can hear him through the spirit of the Most High Yah, allowing me to hear his voice. He said, he that heareth my voice, I know to whom they are. He knows those that can hear his voice. I can hear his voice a mile away, you guys. So in Psalms, when David is talking, and even when David ain't talking, and it sounds like David talking, you can still hear the Most High Yah. It's powerful. It is powerful. Let's go to Psalms 118. Psalms 118, verse 8 and 9. Psalms 118, which is 118. And we're going to start with verse 8 and 9. It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put confidence in man. And in that man, he's not saying man and woman. He's talking about male. Because the second verse, which is verse 9, is going to identify, he's strictly letting you know. It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put confidence in men. Okay? So, Sister Deborah, why are you saying men? It's M-A. It's because the second verse, which is verse 9, is going to vouch for that's what he's saying. Now, watch this here. It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put your confidence in princes. Princes is chief and kings. So he's reversing it and even telling you, don't put your trust in those that are kings and chief and people who wants to be high and mighty in those areas. Don't put your confidence in them. Don't put your confidence in them. Okay? And this is Psalm 118, verse 8 through 9. Okay? Don't put your confidence in them. I don't care if they're Hebrew Israelites. I don't care if they're the tribe of Judah. Don't put your confidence in it, because the confidence is to be in Yahweh and Yahweh only. Whenever you learn to submit to him as your all in all, then you understand why he said put your confidence not in man. Okay? Now, I love that because in both of those verses, it's almost like he's repeating himself. It's pretty much. Go to verse 8. That it says, let me get it back. Let me get it. Verse 8. I got it wrote down and I got it over here. Verse 8. It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put your confidence in man. Now watch this here. It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put your confidence in princes. Why? Let's go to verse 10. All nations compress me about, but in the name of Yahweh will I destroy them. You know what? David understands. Don't trust. I don't care if it's your brother, your mother, your father, your uncle, your pastor, your teacher, your leader, your king, your chief, nobody. Don't put no trust in them. Put your trust, your full 100 times 100 in the Most High Yah. And when you learn to do that, then you'll be able to see why it was important to rightly divide the word of truth. You'll see how it's important to trust in the messages and the teaching of man, because they're going to put themselves all up in it and forsake what Yah's intentions and purpose has been, just as they did for woman back in the beginning. But the Most High did not allow it to switch, even to today. He kind of gave it a real good leeway when he sent Yeshua HaMashiach. But man was so out of order to where they still could care less then as they care less now. Now you're speaking of a people that was all this and some against everything that Yah has called him to, ordered him to. You know what I'm saying? He gave them instructions and directions. Everything that Yah has given them, they have turned aside from. But yet in the year 2000, they find the strength to try to put woman in an order that their forefathers put her in, and keep the order in which their forefathers had put Yah in as well. That don't make sense, do it? It doesn't. See, until they're able to come up from among them, not just the United States, but Satan himself, they're still lost without a cause, teaching you what you want them to feed you is your flesh. But what happens to the flesh? The flesh dies. So all your understanding and your comprehension is going to die with your flesh, but your spirit is going to be judged according to what you took in and you ate of. Did you eat of the tree of life or the tree of man? There's two. There is two. You can take one or the other. And when you go Satan's way, you still yet going man's way and not Yah's. Okay, so let's go to Psalms 146. And he ain't gonna stop you. He even told me about, hey, look, Deborah, I even put out a strong delusion. When he said a strong delusion, I said, wait a minute, Father, you put out, yeah, you don't know how many times have his right hand had to do things to show his elect, look, I got that still in order. It's going according to the way it's going to be judged. So don't be hating on them. Let them go their way, because they're not walking minds. That's how he deals with me. He forever telling me, Deborah, it need be. Meaning, my child, look, the ways that you see well. He told me that all the time. You can see well. Meaning I can see his will. But these things need be. Okay? And I think that's my biggest thing in my life, is to know that I have to endure. That's a part of enduring. Enduring what he has allowed you to see and open your eyes to hear. Open your eyes to see and your ears to hear his voice. And he has suffered you to see into his will. And you can pinpoint what is righteous and what is not. based on being a student of the Ruach HaKodesh for so many years, who have shown you through the biblical, the voice of the Most High Yah versus the voice of man, and how it's played out on the earth and in the world. Okay, we're going to go to Psalms 146. Let's go to Psalms 146. Psalms 146 and verse 3. Psalms 146 and verse 3. And it reads, put not your trust in princes, nor in sons of men, in whom there is no help. I've been on this devil platform 3 years, confessing it, saying to you all in parables and also in the word, put your trust not in man. They're not going to give you this in spirit and truth. They're not going to rightly divide what they're reading. Because if they divide it, then they can't conquer this newfound awakening denomination. They got to make everything they precept and they line and they little here to come on level with what they have opened up, a new denomination. And they got the babes, the young men coming up with the same thing. Lost without a cause. Because they decide to take on a new denomination and labor it as something awakening. You ain't never been asleep. The truth has always been here to set you free. Because I think all the time about how he said he had the light on, the flaming sword. The moment he took that sin out of the garden, he said, I still got the flaming sword lit. And it turns every way so you can find the way to truth. That's why he said, and once you find it, reach and eat of the tree of life. The tree that is spirit and truth. Eat of it. But they don't want to. It bewells them to teach you and lead you and get praises from you and you glorifying them and loving them on these platforms. Than to speak to your spirit, to cause your spirit to rise above your flesh. They're not going to do it. They won't do it. Because they like you at the level where you can give them praise. And you don't even understand you're worshiping them, praising them the way that you're praising them. And the Most High said, Deborah, this need be. Let it be. He always telling me that. Let it be. Now, in Psalms 146 and verse 3. 146 and verse 3. And it reads, put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Men, in whom there is no help. Now, you will never see them precept that down. You know why? Because that's showing you who they are. See, they won't tell you that, but they quick to precept telling you, shut a woman up, not to speak. She's not to exalt herself. See, they can precept that all day and night. Why? Because that's detached to their flesh. It's the power the demonic spirit wants them to have within their flesh. They have forsaken their spirit because when we tell you something, I'm going to tell you the truth. I can give a rat's behind if a woman is speaking or is not speaking. I'm going to ride in spirit and truth myself. I'm not going to sit and belittle her so I can be looked up as high. So I can be the king and the chief. I'm not going to belittle her because she is to me as a slave to the oppressor. And they don't get it. Let me give you a little example. I had to go before the Most High. And this has been lately in the last 7 months. Why is it you brought them to this land? Yes, I read because of their disobedience, but they've been disobedient since the beginning of Genesis. Father, y'all, come on, talk to me. Let me feel this thing. He gave it to me. He socked it to me. And only he had to do it one time. Bam, and there it was. Makes sense. I had to send them there, Deborah. I had to send them to the place in which they were acting. I sent them to a place where they can see what it feels like. Their actions, to me, I sent them there and let them get a taste of their own honey. That means until these Hebrew Israelite men understand why the remnant is small, why the gate is narrow, why is it very few going to make it? Wait a minute, why is it? Out of trillions, out of as many as the star in the skies and the sand and the sea, but yet won't come back to the Father's bosom. Come on, tell me why. Because since Genesis, you all have been disobeying him. You all took everything that he created and made it out of a lie. You have taken everything he created and converted into those things that pleasures you. Even your woman that was supposed to be your helpmate, you were to leave your own mother and father. You weren't supposed to step out of the house of your mother and father until you have found that wife. Once you found that wife, guess what you were supposed to do? Cleave to her. Like that. Cleave to her. Like that. Why? What does she have that I have to cleave to her? Not her to you as the leader. Not her to you as the head. Not her to you as all manly and you the ruler. He said you got to cleave to her. Because he knew she had what it takes to help you along in your journey. But you took her, you sold her for sexual desires. You sold her as a slave for money in your pocket. See, y'all saw all that. So he took you and brought you in a land in which you have portrayed unto him. Those evil and wicked ways, he put those evil and wicked ways that were in you in the midst of somebody else that can apply those same evil ways back onto you. He had to give me that. Because I'm like, wait a minute, it just doesn't make any sense. Yes, they disobeyed you, but you let them. That's me talking to my Father that has all power, that has that right hand, which is Christ. Okay? He know I fear him. But because I am a child of his and has been elected, appointed, and anointed to be a speaker on his behalf, when he's trying to give a people a stiff-necked rebellion and a disobedient people, he has to give me something to go on. Because I can't, like all the other prophets, he took them up out of here. Bam, they got up out of here. Because he knew they couldn't take that much. Even Yeshua, he couldn't take that much. He could, as long as Christ was in him. But it's so much of your wicked, evil mentality, man, to where it's time to go. Okay, so in this verse here, I'm saying if you go to Prince, it's like kings, chief, and he's talking about males. Nor in the sons. Don't put your trust in their sons. Don't put in the kings. Don't even put any trust in their sons, because the son is a product of who you are. He's still living that evil and wicked ways of his father. So he's saying don't put your trust in no son either. Read Psalms 146 in verse 3. Let's read it. Psalms 146 and verse 3. Put not your trust in princes, nor in the son of man, in whom there is no help. There's no help for you all out there. You're running around here trusting all these men on these platforms, making them idols and gods, and you worship them in a way that gives the Most High God no glory, no honor, no praise, and you feel content. Why? Because you're belonging to them. You're reigning in their flesh, and you're dancing and having a good time in their flesh and in their understanding and their wisdom and in their knowledge, and you have forsaken the order of the Most High God from the beginning. But that's why he brought you to this land, to give you a taste of who you really were, so you can see the ugliness of them and at least apply it to yourself and go into repentance. But you're not going to do it. Now you've been in this land. The 400 years is over. He still got to judge you. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. What you mean you got to judge the house of Israel, the whole house of Israel first? For what? We've been judged all the time we here, but I understand. I'm just being silly. And that's how I have that humor with him, because the way he deals with me. I know why you're being judged, because you still know better than what you was when you got there. Even what the oppressor done to you, you hooping and hollering what he done to you, but you failed to read the biblical from the beginning and actually hear the spirit of truth. Because it'll tell you and show you in the scripture how ugly you all were as a man way back in the beginning. To the point where here it is in Psalms, David is already saying, put no trust in men and princes, nor in the son of man. He's talking about in the sons, the lowercase son, meaning they sons who come up behind them and take their position. Don't trust them. Don't put your trust in them. Don't trust them. We just read that already in Psalms 118, verse 8 and 9. Here it is again in the Psalms 146, verse 3. Now, when he says this here, do you think this is David saying this? This is why I was saying, when you have the ear to hear, he said he don't call it ears, just like he don't have seeds to be called seeds. Okay, he called it a seed because this seed is the one that comes from the Most High Yah. And this ear is the one that comes from the Most High Yah, direct. You see, it carries his anointing and his appointed position that he has called him to. Okay, so in here, he's saying, David is saying this because this is really out of the mouth of Yah. Because David don't have no reason to say not to trust in him. He's a man, but he's telling you can't trust in him because you ain't got no help there. You hear me, women? While you running around here, David is actually saying, look what David's saying in verse 3. In whom there is no help. While you hooping and hollering, figuring you wants to be a polygamy, all this marriage and all this and be under the control of a man, because he had precept you to death with all these things a man had placed in here with getting you in control and in order to where you are out of order because you can't even answer your calling. You can't even identify if you in the body of Hamashiach. You can't even find your position nor your purpose in Yah because you up under man. And you're not up under man in spirit. You're up under man in flesh. Okay? So let's go to Psalms 40. Let's go to Psalms 40. In Psalms 40, we're going to go to verse 3. Psalms 40 and verse 3. And it reads, verse 3 reads, and he has put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. Many shall see it, and fear, and shall trust in Yahweh. See, there that trust. Trust in Yahweh once you have what? Seen it and hear. Okay? Blessed is, verse 4, blessed is that man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. See, we believe the lies, and we don't trust in Yah. But here in Psalms 40, verse 3 and 4, it is saying, and he has put a new song in me, in my mouth, even praise unto our Yah. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in Yah. You see? These things is not something that you're going to see and hear that is natural. This is when the spirit of the Most High Yah is going to be within one, and you're going to see it and you're going to fear from it because it's now in thee. And what's happened? And shall trust in Yah. It does not tell you to trust in man, but you insist on living the rest of your life and teaching others, therefore, to follow you. Men don't show you no signs of authority, none whatsoever. Women don't even look for the power of the Most High Yah out of our men. We don't look for the deliverance out of the power of man. We don't look for deliverance. We don't look for the gifts. We don't look for healing. We don't look for anything out of man. We just look for them to be kings and leader and ruler over us and get in that corner and you sit down. Don't exalt yourself above me. How he's gonna tell you rocks a crowd and a donkey bow down to the Most High Yah was on holy ground and began to speak. But then a woman, thank y'all. See, the reason why though the Most High allowed that to take place is to show you the power of who he is. He was at that at the beginning. But because women submit themselves to a man's way and not trusting in God, he let you go on. Go on. You want to run behind him and run behind his flesh? Whoop, go. Because if he had a spirit that you were following, you have a different mindset. And he would have a better mindset. But see, they're not following the spirit. They're following their flesh. And they're teaching by their flesh. That's why it's really good for them to pull all the precepts of man out of here. All the precepts of the line of man. The lines. A little here and a little here out of what man says. Because one thing about here, when it comes down to pulling out the verses that comes out of the mouth of Yah, guess what? You don't have to precept that, baby. Because when it speaks, it carries power. I learned that. Just as I told you right here. When David's speaking, I can hear Yah in the back. David stand down. Even David bowed to him. Even when he dead and gone and the word is being read by a prophetess, I can see David standing down and Yah speaking. You don't see that in the natural. That's spirit. That's only spirit. 100. Okay. Now, we read Psalms 40, verse 3 through 4. Okay. We read that. And 4 said, blessed is that man that maketh the Elohim his trust and respected no proud, nor as turn aside to lie. Don't get up here. These men on this devil platform got so much pride and proud faced it and they just lying as the days are short and getting even shorter. And if you want to follow him, I have no problem with that. Like the Most High already informed me, Deborah, it need be. Why? Because they ain't followed me from the beginning. So what makes you think that it's going to be a change out of nowhere? I know who mine is, and we're going to see what he's talking about. Okay? Now, let's go to Matthew 19. Let's go to Matthew 19 and verse 4. 19, Matthew 19 and verse 4. Matthew 19, and we're going to go over to 4, verse 4. But I'm going to kick it up a notch. We're going to go to verse 3, okay? We're going to go 19, verse 3 and 4. Let's go. Verse 3, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? See, that was the mindset of their forefathers yesterday. It's even stronger today. You see, that's what I was saying to you all. These people are not walking in spirit and truth. They are like their forefathers. Even though in this newfound awakening, they mislead you to believe their forefathers is actually Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are the fathers that came under the seed. You get what I'm saying? Those are not the fathers that he's telling that was rebellion and we came up under. Because they wasn't disobedient and rebellion and stiff-necked. No, they weren't. Why? Because they were founded under the seed. You see how we call ourselves, oh, we the children of, yeah, you the children of disobedient. You the children of Jacob's disobedient children. You're the rebellious children of Jacob. You are, stiff-necked children of Jacob, but you are not the seed children of Jacob. It's deep, y'all. It's deep. See, because Jacob came down that seed, and that seed is eternal life that's embedded in him to come and to go back to the bosom of the Most High, guaranteed. But the seeds, which is those same seed of, I said example, the same seed that sun, the seeds down from the heavens had seeds that were still in the stony, in the thorns and in the places where the sun scorched. Those still were some of the seeds of the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah. They were placed in areas, even though it was stony ground, thorns, in an era where the sun scorched. Oh, baby, y'all better wake up and understand what a seed is. All you have to do is go to Matthew's 1 and see all them names. Those are the ones who carried that seed down. Y'all didn't know they, did you? Yeah, they carried that seed, which is the father's seed. Remember the serpent seed and the woman's seed? That's who the woman's seed was. Not a female, but it was a seed of God going, Yahweh, that was crushed the head of the seed of the serpent, and his thoughts and his pattern in which he is will come down. Yah's would crush his head. They will always interfere with Yah's seed's heel, because the heel represents order. Meaning the steps that he had order of Jacob, the steps he had order of Abraham, the steps he had order of Isaac. You know, they didn't just have it smooth. They had journeys. And that's because the devil was always under them, interfering with the steps that Yah had ordered, which caused their heel to have to crush his plan. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's how they came out victorious, because they were the seed. But what you are today, you bet to make your calling assured. You got a chance. You got more than what they had back then, because Yahweh is willing to now live in you to assure you through Yeshua HaMashiach that you will gain eternal life. That's why Yeshua came to fulfill. He came to fulfill the oil that has dried up with oil, so that your light may be on when you stand before glory for judgment. Okay. Let's go to Matthew's chapter 19. And I'm going to kick it up a notch to verse 3 and then 4. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, it is lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause. They asked this question. They were just tempting him. But it was a question in the way they were living already. That women, do you hear me? They were living this way. That means for any cause were they kicking you to the curb. Why? Because I'm telling you, in those days, they were marrying, even babies they were marrying. Today, it's a law. But they were married. That's why that law is put as a restriction as a certain age, because they believe that they can have somebody's baby and it was okay. That's how Pastor Doll is. He's breeding them babies over there, and these fools going straight over there talking, oh, I want to be like Pastor Dow, because they see something that they think that was the order of yesterday, and they don't understand that's that stiff-necked rebellion and disobedient and wicked order. You know, that's not the order of what Yah had sent the Messiah down to fulfill, so you can have more women. Come on now, more babies, feasting. He said they're going to be eating, feasting. Why? Because y'all going to start grabbing every feast of yesterday in the old that came upon them, which no heart of the Most High Yah was even in them to abide any law and commandments, but yet they was feasting. They was honoring the feast days and sinning at the same time. That's how it is today. The Hebrew Israelite movement would call feast days and worship the moon and worship all these days. But their heart is not right with Yah. They're not following Yah's love, his mercy, and his grace. You know, they don't have no power in them to do anything. Okay. Now, in verse, what else is that? Verse 4. And it says, no, let me get that. Matthew's 19, verse 4. Okay. Then in verse 3, they was tempting him, but in their process of tempting, they were actually saying what they were doing. They was leaving these women, getting a written decree and leaving them like, you know, having them here. Oh, I'm going to get this one, do what I want. Get this one, do what I want. Get this one, do what I want. When I get 3 or 4, they were actually doing that. They was actually doing that. That's why it's here. The first thing they was doing out of order, they was tempting him. The second, they revealed what they were doing. And they thought he was going to chop off what Moses said. And he did. This the ignorant men today don't get it. Because I'm going to lay it to her. Watch this. And he answered. This is Yeshua. Now watch this here. Yeshua answered. And this is what he said. And he answered and said unto them, have you not read? You hear? Watch this here. Have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female. Now, I want you to understand all the power in that. See, when you're talking about the Ruach HaKodesh, your teaching and your understanding is way above any man on this devil platform. Because you are up under the Ruach HaKodesh, the one that's supposed to come to teach you all things from the heaven, versus man down on earth precepting you to death, pulling books together to be able to deceive you to believe that they got this packed down. Okay? Now, but I want you to hear what Sister Deborah finna show you right here. This is very powerful. Watch it. Be careful. Verse 4 says, and he answered and said unto them, have you not read? He's telling them, have you not read? Wait. You mean to tell me you ain't read? In a sense, he's saying, these people done lost their mind. They come to me to tempt me, but it looks as if they haven't even read or did what Yah said from the beginning. He's telling them, listen to what's happening. Watch this here. Have you not read that from which made him at the beginning? See that word beginning? The beginning means the beginning of time. At the beginning of the Bible. At the beginning of creation. He had to take them there. See, he taking them a place they still ain't comprehending. Just like you out there. Sister Deborah just took you a place that these men ain't never took you. But you would never read it like that because you so caught up in their precepts and their line and their little to control and manipulate you and to deceive you. You would never hear the voice of the Most High through his spirit, through he sent to his prophets and his prophetess and those that are in the body Hamashiach to teach the body. But see, because you are so hooked up on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, believing every doctrine of a man, you have forsaken the Creator and what he said. Now watch what Yeshua said. We in Matthew's chapter 19 and verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them? Oh, wait a minute. They didn't ask you who made them. Wait a minute, you sure? They didn't ask you who made them. They finna ask you, they tempting you just to see if you're going to agree with Moses so they can continue doing what they were doing from the beginning. Having women like crazy, send them away with a piece of paper. Okay, now watch this here. But look how he came around. He came around to them like Yah has let the Holy Spirit come to me. When I asked him a question about what these people on this devil platform be teaching, the Most High Spirit would sit there and break that thing down to me, come all kind of corners. He'd take it from, but he always go to Genesis. Always bring me through Genesis. But he'll swing me up and down all around just to get me, to get the fullness of the lie of the manipulated platform that was created to deceive many. Because you can't deceive many without this platform. See, a lot of people think this platform, it's for them. Oh, no, baby. This platform was created to deceive people. That's what it's created for. That's why I get on here and let you know straight up. I'm not from that level of deceiving you. I'm from a higher power. And no matter what the deceiver is going to be, it can be 1 trillion people on here deceiving. Y'all still going to have his light. It might be one on there speaking. He's going to have that light on. Okay? So, I want you to see this here. In verse 4, it's so much power. It's so much awakening power in this. Now listen, he's saying, Yeshua is saying so much in here. He said, have you not read? Throwing the question back to them. Now, why is he asking them that if he knows they're just trying to test him? Because Yeshua knows they're not trying to just test him. They're trying to continue sinning and feeling okay about it. That's just like now. These men on these platforms was teaching you an order that can continue the men to sin to still feel pleasure. That they are proud boosters, kings, chief leaders, and everything in here telling you don't trust him. Everything. Because they know when people get into that mindset, they are not to be trusted. Because they ain't taking you the spiritual route. They taking you the flesh route. See, the spiritual route will turn you to Yah. And it'll turn you into things that are spirit and truth. It won't be on this here devil platform telling men to get the women, you need to get your women in order. You can have as many wives if you please. Women should be submissive. They should shut up. They're not supposed to be speaking. It's a spirit the Most High taught me. Deborah, let it alone. It need be. It's a spirit, and it's a demonic spirit. So it's bigger than what you can comprehend. That's why it's giving them a strong delusion to focus on the things that pleases a man in their flesh and leave no room for the spirit to inherit food from Yahweh. That is spirit and truth. Okay, now listen to this. In this verse 4 carries so much light and power. First thing he said, have you not read? Now, if they are getting paper and writing women off and leaving and getting as many as they want, and as it says here, his wife for whatever cause. If you don't fix dinner, I'm through with you. I done sex you up and got you to work and slave. Shoot, give me another one. That's how they are doing today. In the name of awakening denomination called the Hebrew Israelite movement. Now watch this here. In verse 4, that he which made them at the beginning, see, he taking them all kind of way. Wait a minute. He said, he which made them. He didn't say him. Now, who's talking in here? It's the Pharisees. These are the men asking this question. But he letting them know, no. I'm not going to talk about what you want to do. When Yah, in the beginning, let me get with you. We're going to take you to Genesis. In the beginning of his creation, he created. He said, in the beginning, he made them. So letting them know, wait a minute. This ain't nothing. This ain't no one thing. This ain't about you. You hear me, man? You getting boosted up, listen. You a king, you a chief, you almighty, you the leader. You supposed to be she's supposed to be submissive. Shut up, get over there, don't exalt yourself past him. What the hell are y'all coming from with all this? It's a spirit. It's a strong delusion in which the Most High Yah has suffered you all to inherit. Because for so long. See, this didn't start in the year 2000, in 1990s. This didn't start in 1800. This started way back in Genesis. So he know this spirit, this spirit is needy. Okay? Now watch what else he said. Then he turned around and said, them at the beginning. Then he brought them to the again. What? The beginning. He told them, have you read? Have you not read? It's about them. From the beginning, made him male and female. So he just cut all their cheeses. And they still today don't get it. Because this thing is spirit, you guys. This is not, you can't get this in a man precept in a line in his study, in his lessons, in his books he draws to you. You can't get this through there. Because in that way, he can crank up anything. That's why all these churches have developed, because they cranked up every verse and precept, every line, every little here, every little there, all kind of books. They brought it into one. Bam! We got us a new denomination. Or we got us a denomination that has been existing for years. But none of it is the spirit and truth. That's even the Hebrew Israelite movement and our men's today. But he said, Deborah, keep in mind, very few shall find their end. But he also tell me, if it was so, it will fool my very elect. And you are elect, my child. So I'm just at that point where I'm still enduring. And I'm going to be enduring much because of the day of this birth pain. I know what's about to happen. I feel this thing. I know it's in labor. And I know what that labor feel like. So in the spiritual aspect of it, it's deeper. Okay? So here, as I see this here, he's telling him, man, in the beginning, then he tell him, made them. I'm going to let you know. He made them male and female. Watch this here, verse 5. And said, for this cause shall a man leave his mother and father, and shall cleave to his wife. They're cleaving to. Why are you cleaving to her? Huh? Her, and her? No, not of Yah. It's a strong delusion. It's a delusion that's in here. Just like the 666. It's here. It's controlling the people from here. Whether they put it in the water, the food, or whatever, it's embedded here. That's why when they put that germ out with the CDC, the plans, which I'm sure it's been about 12 years, they plotted it and got it together and prepared it. When they put it out, It was here. It was here that it was manifest. No 666 on your forehead, but yet you were full in control. And not one Hebrew Israelite male can teach you that. They can't precept it. They can't line it. They can't little here. They can't little nothing. You know why? This is spirit and truth. I even had to go to the Father. I said, "Oh, something wrong." He said, "What is it now?" I said, "Wait a minute. This picture don't look good." He said, "What is it? How is it that the world didn't use the 666, the mark of the beast? How is it the chip was not in the hand, Father? How is it that the martial law wasn't performed? But yet, every human on the face of the earth was in control." See, I always, when he told me as a young girl, teenager, "Hey, I'm going to have to teach you. I'm going to have to teach you." And that's when he went full chords, and that's when he told me I was a prophetess. Because he said, "I'm going to have to teach you." Because he said to me straight as I'm sitting here telling you, he said, "You ask questions that no man can answer." Because I want to know. I'm like, oh. Because I'm not sitting here to rumble with you all. And to sit here and play patty cake with your flesh. I want to get these people the things which is spirit. So they'll know. Let's continue. And verse 5 said, and said, this is what Yeshua said, "For this cause." For what cause? From the beginning, did he create them for this cause? They taking it on. Listen to what they said. This is why he's saying that. Look up in verse 3. Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Yeshua answering them, letting them know your cause don't mean anything. Let me tell you, y'all didn't crank this thing up to have these women and write them off like they slaves, like they sex toys. You know, no matter what age, young babies, no matter what, do what you want and how many you want. But from this cause, I'm going to cut all that polygamy, whatever they call it, out. Oh, they tell you, oh, you can't find it. You can them having wives, you can find sin in the book too. But do that mean you're supposed to go do it? You can find lying in the book, but do that mean you're supposed to go lie? You can find murdering in the book. Do that mean you're supposed to go murder? You can find hate in the book. Do that mean you're supposed to go hate? You can find disobedient to your parents in the book, but do that mean you're supposed to go be disobedient? Just because you can find it so many in the book, do that mean you got to go do it? I see, yeah. That's what you're doing. You're doing exactly that. And damnation is going to be prepared for you. That hell didn't enlarge itself until he started dealing with the Hebrew Israelites. They don't get it. They do not get it. And they're not going to. Because he said it need be. And if he put the strong delusion, that means they'll never get it. It's too late. You know? So here it's saying in 5, they didn't understand that he's finna cover up what they said in 3. When they said, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? See, nobody never, these men won't precept you that. Every cause. And Yeshua coming in from the beginning. He's attacking him from the beginning to the end. Watch how he's doing it. How is he doing that, Deborah? Because he said in verse 4, and he answered and said unto him, have you not read? Meaning, you ain't heard what Yahweh have said. You didn't heard out of the mouth of man this lie. But you ain't heard what Yahweh had to say. And guess what he said? And then he said, have you not read? Meaning you ain't heard what Yahweh said. Now watch this here. He that which made, which is Yahweh, which is Yahweh, them in the what? You ain't heard what took place in the beginning. See, he even took them way back to Genesis, like the Most High takes me all the time. He took them to Genesis, made them male and female. He had to take them back to Genesis. He had to school them way back home. Now watch this here. And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother. So he's going to leave his mother and father way back in Genesis and shall cleave to his wife. He's cleaving to his wife. and they two shall be one. He didn't say they three shall be one. They four shall be one. They five shall be one. But they two, he and her, shall be one in Yah. Now, oh no, wait, hold up. I can have all these wives and concubines as many as I want. I see they did it in the Bible. They lied in the Bible too. Do that mean it's justice and righteous in the eyes of the Most High? They murdered in the Bible. Do that mean it's righteous and justice in the Bible? I mean, to do in the eyes of Yahuwah? Just because you seen it there does not mean that you take it and betray it. And that's why our men are lost without a cause. That's why the whole house of the whole house of Israel must be judged first, because they still have not been founded to the year of 2020 under any righteousness, and running on these devil platform, manipulating these people left and right, and these people eating it up like it's a full meal deal, and can't stand for devil even to teach a few minutes. But I'm giving this to you because I'm hoping that I'm gonna hope, as long as this devil platform is up, this message shall remain. Okay. Now it says here in verse 5, shall cleave to his wife, and they shall be one flesh. He said that. Now Yeshua came back and repeated what Yah said in the beginning. In Genesis, they should be, the wife and the husband should become one in the flesh. It's telling you from heavens, from the beginning, heavens has assigned it to be one man and one woman. That's what he said here. Verse 6, wherefore they are no more two, but one flesh in Yah. He sees you as two. That means you can't just write this one off and get another. Write this one off and get another. Or have 6 or 7 wives. It ain't the way the Most High created it from the beginning. Okay? What therefore God has joined together, let no man put as under. Meaning, if this is the way that Yah created it, I don't give a heart's behind what Moses told you or what anyone else said. It's the way Yah said it from the beginning. If you want 2 and 3 wives, sin, commit adultery, and get to where you want to go. I don't have no problem with that, Yah said. That's why he be telling me, Deborah, this need be. Leave it alone. He don't have no problem with that. You just setting your own destiny. You just telling him who you are in your flesh. Yeah, you can sit and tell these men to have all these wives and all this and so on. It ain't going to gain you anything. But a destiny, that does not mean you're going to reign with him eternal. Because you did your will and not the will that I created at the beginning. So that's why Yeshua was saying, have you not read? Wait a minute. Y'all don't rumble that way. So listen to this, verse 7. And they said unto him, why did Moses then command to give a written divorcement and to put her away? Now, I don't doubt that Moses did not tell him that. But this is what I've been trying to tell people on this devil platform, especially these men that's manipulating people and misleading. And women, you got to wake up. What he said, they are saying, is that Moses told them this here. Moses then command to give, why did Moses then command to give a written of divorcement and put her away? You know why Moses did that? Because man on man gives men what they please. What pleases them. What makes them feel like they're a man. I'm a leader. I'm a king. I rule. Shut up and get over there. You're nothing. You're not supposed to speak. You're not supposed to exalt yourself. That's how they think. But don't understand, a woman can exalt herself anywhere that the Most High has exalted her to. It is not your call. And just because sin, lying, murder, stealing existed from the beginning to the end of the Bible, don't mean you're going to run and do all of that. So you can't just say having all these wives because I saw him with it. I read he had. I'm going to go get, you go right here. It's in there showing you that he did. But all things, whether it's good or bad, is going to be answered and judged. That's what you all don't understand. You're thinking you just going to be just running around here doing whatever you want, how you want, and then y'all going to say, come on up here, my son. Well done, you faithful. Where's your wives? It ain't going to make any sense. It is not the will of the Most High God. Okay? Now, here, Moses did tell them that. Not just because of their hearts of wickedness. It's because giving men what they want to hear. And that's what these men on this devil platform does to the men. It feeds their boost and their pride. Oh, I'm a king. I'm a tribe of Judah. I'm a leader. I'm a chief. I'm a ruler. What are you? Or do you know? Because none of that you are in Yah. Because all that is flesh titles. What did Yah call you to be in the body of Hamashiach? What should you be doing around about now? Outside of lying on these devil platforms trying to manipulate these men to feel good and to think that they something that Yah has not called them to. And they feed in it left and right and don't even know they could have possibly that strong delusion in which Yah said he's going to give them that delusion so they can believe a lie than to believe the truth. I don't want to be founded in that. Not Sister Deborah. Okay, so they began to tell him this is what Moses. And then what did Yeshua say in verse 8? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives. See, they was going around and marrying, just marrying. But from the beginning, was not so. We're going to have to answer to what took place at the beginning, you all. You're not going to get away with doing whatever you want and when you want to do it. It's not going to be so. It's not. So I like the way Yeshua came back and sealed what Yah said in the beginning. And let him know it ain't going to be so. It ain't going to be Moses' way. It ain't going to be your way. So you can keep rumbling it. That's on you. See, that's what I like about Yeshua. He said, hey, don't come with me with no laws. I don't want to hear it. I was born under the law. Don't come to me with that. I don't want to hear what your prophet is saying. I'm the ultimate prophet. I'm Yah himself in the flesh. I don't want to hear it. I come to fulfill. Fulfill what? The oil, because your lamp is without oil. And I come to fulfill everyone that Yah has missioned me to fulfill their lamp with oil, even to today. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay. So, he says in verse 8, Moses, because of the hardening of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be fornication, and shall marry another, commits adultery. And whosoever marry her, which is put away, do it commit adultery. So you can't get out of it. Not the way you think. So you run around with these wives, it's still considered in your adultery. Yes. So you can go get all you want. Yeshua done nailed it. He nailed it for everybody in the old as well as the new who run around here talking about in the year 2000 that I can have as many wives as I want. You can have what you want. But from the beginning, that was not so. Because the beginning, it sealed the end. How do you say that, Deborah? Because he said it was finished. See, what y'all so ignorant and don't understand, he saw it before heaven and earth was even created. So when he said on the Sabbath, he rested, and it was finished, he meant that. That means everything is about to walk itself out, and I'm going to see it for what I predestined it to be. No, it ain't gonna rumble the way y'all want to translate it and turn it and precept it and line it and little here so y'all can get full authority of the only weak link on the earth, and that is woman. That's the Hebrew Israelite women. They are the weakest, but yet they are the strongest. Because we are the women that Yah has created all sorrow up under and called it travail like unto a woman in labor. And you all men are too ignorant to see. A woman in labor takes on the cares and the struggles and the hard turmoil of all the issues of life. And you all are too ignorant to see it. And all you can do is call us bitches and hoes and shut your mouth. You ain't this. And you. Why would he put that much strength in us to birth your whole nation? And all you had to do is get pleasure bringing your nation into us. And we go through the pain to birth them and see them through. You're a sick species. You Hebrew Israelites of the tribe of Judah, and you all are some sick species not to see the truth of this matter. Okay. Now, the Most High was given to me how he was said in Matthews. We pretty much covered that. I'm gonna get out of that right now because he's starting to show me things that I had no idea. And I'm like, okay, Father, I got you. I'm with you. Okay, let's go to Romans. Let's go to Romans chapter 10, verse 21. Romans chapter 10, verse 21. I want to give the elects that's in the body of Hamashiach a total different view of all that you have fed and ate of, and plates that you have been at the table with, eating, that has not been a place that you should have been. You come up out from among them, and be ye separate from them, because they are also caught up in Babylon, in the ways and manipulation and the trickery that the Babylon sets and rests in, and the lies. Okay, so you got to get away from those who are teaching this biblical in the flesh. You have to get a plate of food that is spirit. You don't need another plate that is flesh for flesh. You need another plate for spirit. Okay. Okay. Now in Romans chapter 10 verses 21. Romans chapter 10 verses 21. Okay. But to Israel he say, all day long have I stretched forth my hand unto a disobedient and gainsetting people. One thing I want to share with the women out there, or a woman that's hearing this lesson that knows that she is a part of the elects. I want you to understand the reason why Sister Deborah is always confronting men is because that's my calling. Okay, I am a prophetess in the wilderness. I am to judge the whole house of Israel and the tribe of Judah. I feel that I got that teaching gift in me, but I try to stay away from it because I don't know how to pull out. Because every verse, every word, I can see spiritual, and I can see behind what the word is saying. So therefore, it's like no end. And see, because the spirit of the Ruach HaKodesh is in me, that is what tamed me to get in and get out, because I really can't do it. Even when the spirit is in me, it be so good. You know, it's such good food to my spirit. I can't just release it. You know, I just can't get up. That's why it bothers me to know that people will rather be on this devil platform getting the stuff of the flesh to manipulate their mind and deceive them than to get something for their spirit that they can run on with. Okay. In Romans chapter 10, verses 21, but to Israel, he said, all day long, I've stretched forth my hand. Do you know who's saying this? This is Yahweh. This is Yahweh. This is Yahweh. All day long. That's not the way he said. All day long have I stretched forth my hand. That's even to today. That means it's not a day that went by, nor a time, nor an hour, nor a minute, nor a second, that he didn't have his arm stretched out forth. His hand, which is that power, that's Yeshua, that's that Hamashiach, that's his right hand, been stretched out unto a disobedient and a gainsetting people. Now, what does gainsetting mean? It is one that's very disagreeable, opposer, a denier. They would deny every word I'm talking about. They would deny everything I'm saying, even if they're reading it with me and seeing that I'm saying it and knowing that the Holy Spirit is speaking, they would deny it. So that's why I know that when I always on the head of the Hebrew Israelite men and the tribe of Judah, I'm 100. I am 100, because they're identified as a gainsetting people, one that denies and dispute and disagreeable and opposer. That's who they are. The Bible says that they are. So why should Deborah lie? Why should one speak truth on 1,000 and the one be a liar? Cannot be. It's not biblical. The mouth of the Most High Yah said narrow is the gate. So I can't be the wrong one out there, you guys. They would have to be. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so he says, this is a people. He said that he has always had that stretched out hand, which is that right hand, which is that homicide. Always had that there for us. But we just a people that deny, we dispute, we disagreeable, we just opposer. We just don't give a whoop about nothing. But us being in the flesh, being lifted, boosted, and pride-minded. Want to control women to make us higher than we really been called to. Because we wants to be higher in the flesh, but don't give a rest behind who we are in the spirit. Something wrong with that picture. Something wrong with that picture. And even here in Romans 10 and verse 21, it says that. So that supports me. That gives me a check. Because it said everything I just broke out this whole lesson with. These people, these Hebrew Israelite men, because everything is founded on what you do that is righteous, that is just. And if you don't find no room to stand up for righteousness and justice, ain't no woman going to do it. Not under the Hebrew Israelite movement. They so busy buckling up to your lies and your deceitful spirit that Yah has put much delusion on. You know he did it because he said in the days they would rather believe a lie than the truth. And the gate that leads into destruction, they would rather follow than what is right, because very few is going to find what is right, the gate that's right. See, nobody can see that. They can't even see stuff like that. Things that I'm saying, they can't get it because they got that strong delusion. That's why they can't get on this platform and tell you all that virus they call so-called corona is underground biochemical warfare. They can't get on there and tell you that because in spirit they don't know nothing like that. And when they went, as soon as they went, the mark of the beast came in order. Bam! They was under 100%. Stay in the house, y'all. Wash your hands. Make sure you get. These people, these men on this platform was teaching this stuff out of order. When they called that Yah's plague, I knew they was out of order. When they called the fires Yah's plague, I knew they were out of order. Because when Yah shows up, he shows up. There's no way it's going to be 400 years. And a plague like that is coming to represent Yah's plague. The tamper with life. He said, we're going to be judged. We got to feel this time. Okay. Now, we're going to go to Isaiah 65. I'm almost getting there, but I ain't going to stop because you want me to stop. I'm going to finish this lesson. And I hope and pray that the Most High Yah put this on someone's heart to grip this and understand that you have been deceived. And you could easily fall under the strong delusion. Because he said he would give them a strong delusion that they would believe a lie than to believe a truth. And he ain't talking about Pharaoh. He talking about the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah. If you keep the stuff up, I'm going to give the majority of you all delusion. So you can, a strong delusion, so you can believe a lie than believe a truth. Believe the truth. Because the truth is set in front of you. And he knows that he set it in front of you. Just like he said here. He always had that stretched out hand. Have y'all ever reached for it? No. And you ain't going to. You reaching on these devil platforms for man to give you praise and glory and honor. You on this platform trying to get boosted by man. Don't tell no woman she can't speak. It ain't given unto you to be able to call out the orders in which Yahuwah has made before the foundation of the world and predestined and ordained. And it don't have to go according to what you pull out of this and dissect out of this book. Because the only thing you're supposed to be dissecting is what comes out of the mouth of man. Because it needs to be divided from the word of truth. And if the spirit of the Ruach HaKodesh and the power of the spirit of the Hamashiach don't rest in you, you can't win. Isaiah 65:2. And it reads, I spread out my hand all the days unto a rebellion people, which walketh in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts. Do y'all hear me, women? While y'all buckling up under them, in full control. It's like a fool driving a car at 200 miles an hour and 20 women in that one car and all of them riding. Knowing that he put them in danger, but they just in for the ride. Just trusting that their lives are going to be spared. Just trusting in whatever he said. The Most High don't rumble that way. You either going to trust in him or trust in man. And it's going to determine your destiny. You'll know it. You already know who you are. Okay. Let's go to Isaiah 65, and this is verse 2. I spread out my hand. Father, Yah, forgive us. Forgive us. If you knew who that hand was. Isaiah 65 and verse 2. I have spread out my hand all the day, unto a rebellion people, which walketh in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts. See? You see what I'm saying, women? You're running and chasing behind the flesh of a man and his thoughts, his precepts, his line, his little here, his understanding of all these books. And you have forsaken the right hand of the Father, which is Christ. Not even having the sense enough to realize that. And that's sad. But he said this to me, and he's continued to say it. Deborah, this need be. Why? Why, Father, must it need be? Because before the heavens and earth was created, I looked at this. I measured it. I saw it for what it was, what it is, and what it shall be. But yet, I suffered it to come into existence, already knowing the outcome of it all. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's go to Romans 10. And I forgot I was supposed to jump down to 17. Let's go to Romans chapter 10. I was work to give you that drop down to 7, and I see I got it right here. Chapter 10. Verse 17. That's what he wanted me to also cover. Okay, Romans chapter 10, verse 17. I was supposed to go up. No, down. I came to Romans chapter 10, verse 21, but now I'm going up. Romans chapter 10, verse 17. So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yah. Okay? What he's saying here is, faith is the substance of things unseen but yet believed. So if it's unseen, it must be spirit. It is spirit. So a spirit is not something that you give or you gain. This faith, this is a gift that comes from him. It is spirit. Okay? But it says here in 17, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yah. Everybody really believe that this whole book is the word of Yah. Not so. Only one can be able to teach you what is the word of Yah in this book is the Ruach HaKodesh. Its whole mission was to come on the scene after Yeshua HaMashiach ascended, to come back down to make sure that we had a comforter. We have one to teach us all things, show things to us to come, reveal things to us. But it is the one that teaches all things. But if we have not set up under him, and have taken every word out of here that came out of the mouth of man and has taught it in the souls of man and woman to where they could now believe the lie, then the truth that Yeshua HaMashiach is here to teach us all things. That means Yeshua HaMashiach is not going to lay heavy on the precepts, the line, and a little here out of the mouth of man. But it will lay heavy out of what comes out of the mouth of Yah. In this book are many things that comes out of the mouth of Yah. So the Ruach HaKodesh come to teach you the things that comes out of the mouth of Yah. Now, the things that comes out of the mouth of Yah, yes, man can speak what comes out of the mouth of Yah and say, Yah said. You see? Yah said. Yah said. That's out of the mouth of Yah. But when man sit and say, women are not to speak, that's out of the mouth of man. Mm-hmm. We can have women, Jacob had all these wives. That's all the mouth of man and the will of the flesh of man. It has no bearing on what comes out of the mouth of Yah. Because if you can see, Abraham had 2 sons. Only the seed that is the inherited will Yah take unto his bosom. Just because Abraham many seeds, when he said the stars and the sea, that mean many. It don't mean that all of them gonna gain eternal life. Those that's going, Yah have sealed with the same seed that he sealed in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they were not considered rebellion, stiff-necked, and disobedient. See, the men won't teach out it. They don't understand. They're wrapping themselves all around Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob because they are the seed. But let the truth be told, they never disobeyed God. They weren't rebellion. They weren't stiff-necked. So that can't be the father he's talking about as far as who you are following and how you're conducting yourself. And I want to tell you, Hebrew Israelite men, that the Most High Yah said that the reason why you all have suffered so much is because of the action that you have portrayed from the beginning all the way until you enter into that ship or you lost your land and they come to seize everything you had because of your disobedience, that you were willing to take that chance and ride on into the disobedient stage instead of following him and listening to him. All that is why you end up in the same lifestyle in which you had lived freely. He put you in the same predicament amongst the oppressor to do unto you the way you had done unto him. So that's why you really end up over here. It's not, oh, the oppressor did this, they bothered us, they hung us, they did this. Don't you know y'all saw that before the foundation of the world? Y'all want to treat him like a man. Y'all teach these people like he's a man, that he should lie, and y'all all upright and just. Tell the truth and shame the devil. He is not a man that he should lie. He's way in above and beyond. He rules it all. So stop that lying. You need to just stop lying. So I just hope that this lesson really gets to someone, even if it's one. At least they'll be set free. Okay? This Bible, it holds the mouth of man as well as the word of Yah. But the only way you're going to really be able to dissect it is through the Ruach HaKodesh. Because all these years, they never took heed to it until he sent the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, so that he will mission to teach us all things in here. And the all things in here would divide the word of truth from the word out of a man's mouth. We're not to take the precept in the line and a little here out of the words of man, out of the man's mouth, and apply them to our lives, spiritual. We have to take what comes out of the mouth of Yah and apply it to our spirit, that it is food for our spirit. Now, there is food in here for our flesh, but we have to rightly divide it. Even the food for our flesh, we have to rightly divide it to see if what man is saying, did it come out of the mouth of Yah? And if it did not, and it just came out of a man's opinion and suggestion, we are not bound to it. We are only bound to every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. Okay, we're going to go to Timothy, 2 Timothy. And, Father Yah. 2 Timothy, verse 15. 2 Timothy, verse 2 and 15. 2 Timothy, verse 2 and 15. 15 says, study to show thyself approved unto Yah. Now, when you study it, he said, study to show yourself. You don't study to tell everybody on these devil platforms. You first study yourself to show Yah approved. Study to show thyself approved unto Yah. That means you get up under this word and you study under Yah. Under Yah, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay? A workman that needed not to be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. Only one can divide the word of truth is Yeshua HaMashiach. Not Yeshua HaMashiach, the Ruach HaKodesh. Only one that can divide it. That's why he said, rightly, let me see. It says here, study to show thyself. So it's just you yourself approved that you're willing to be up under Yahuwah, which is his spirit. A workman that need not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. See, that's how you're going to have to study and learn to study. Not like man is teaching on these devil platforms. That's not studying. That's being foolish. That's being deceiving. You're being deceived on these platforms. And you're loving it because you're deceiving in the flesh. That means you'll never get to the realm of understanding anything in spirit. Because you've been deceived so long in the flesh by many that have been on here 20, 13, 18, 25, 30 years. And you all have been deceived and you love it. Okay, so I wanted to show you that. Let me see what 19 is saying. Nevertheless, let's drop down to 19. That's 2 Timothy 2, verse 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of Yah standeth sure, having this sealed. You hear that? It stands sure. The foundation of Yah stands sure. That means ain't nothing these men gonna get on this devil platform and reteach, re-precept, reline, and a little here, and manipulate people to believe a lie. Not that which stands sure. Those who stand under that assurance. Okay? Having this sealed in his. Watch this here. Watch this here. For Yah knoweth them that are his. Oh, you're a man. Because you're taught under man on this here platform. You're man. He knows who's sealed under him. Okay? Knoweth them that are his. And let every one that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. There go that Christ. There go that right hand. I keep telling y'all. See, when you seal with that right hand. That means that right hand got Christ got your lamp full. Okay, Father, I got her in. Bam, she sealed. And then you're supposed to get on these devil platform and follow behind those that's pride-minded, boosted, and uplifting themselves to be kings, and they are fools. Telling people to shut up and not be able to speak. You can't override and overexalt yourself over the will of the Father. You can't dictate his predestined authority. He has sealed, approved, and ordained that which was, is, and shall be before the foundation of the world. So who are you today to override what the heavens had prepared for you even today? You can't win, men. Not that way. You need to get up under the Ruach HaKodesh and be under the Ruach HaKodesh until he endows you with the Spirit. Because you are teaching out of your flesh and he's suffering too. I don't care if a scholar is so sharp as a whip and still be lost without a cause. Because the true teacher was the Ruach. He already done told you. That teacher gonna teach you all things. These scholars and these people on this devil platform, they gonna teach you what's in their prideful heart. Just like Moses told them, it's okay for them to go around doing what they was doing. Because what that did is to cause them to skip from woman to woman to woman to woman to woman. For her there, they was riding on all kind of wicked. The adultery and all kind of wickedness. All over the place. But it was okay because Moses, the man, told them it was okay. See? They didn't even think Yeshua was going to go that deep. But I love the way he took them. He took them all the way deep. Told them even in the beginning, or have you not read, or can you read? You know? And that's what's wrong with the women today. They don't know how to read in the spirit realm. They so listen to all these men tell them what this here man said, this man said in this Bible. No, you can't believe what man said. You got to pull out what women did. Y'all said? Let me bring it to me and show me what y'all said this here. Okay? And 19 said, nevertheless, the foundation of Yah standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his, and let every one that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. And the name of, when he said Christ, that's like Hamashiach, but when he said Christ, that is Hamashiach, but guess what that is? That's the right hand of his power. You got to name that hand. You got to name it what it is. It is his all power. He's telling you to name that thing. You got to name it. You don't name it, you can't claim it because it ain't in you. You don't know no better. You didn't heard what man said. You don't even study the right hand nor the stretched out. Y'all don't desire nothing spirit. Just everything to fill your flesh. Okay? Oh, I'm almost there. Okay, we're going to go to Romans chapter 3 of Romans. Chapter 3. Now this here, believe it or not, this lesson is going into 2 hours, but guess what? You wouldn't get a man to even take time to even hear 5 minutes of it. Because they got the strong delusion poured out on them. It hurts them to hear truth. They can't deal with it. That's the weakest cycle of a man. He cannot deal with truth. Why you think they haven't been rebellion and disobedient to the Most High Yah, the Creator, from Genesis to now, to 2020? They can't handle the truth. That's why I say, women, you better get off of that. Being manipulated and dominated by them. When it come down to Most High Yah, and you start praying and fasting and having a relationship with the Most High Yah, start using the powers he gave you and invested in you to move some of these mountains that's going to be in your sons and daughters' way. And kick these men to the curb and what they teach you. I don't have no problem. I always had a problem with women teaching in the church as far as ruling, being a pastor, assistant pastor, a bishop. Oh, I'm not for that. You ain't none of that. You ain't called to that. I don't believe a woman should fall under those orders. But it's nothing wrong with a woman being called to prophesy. And if you are a prophet or a prophetess, you are called to do the position of a prophetess. And those that are called to teach, go into the spirit, talk to him and tell him, where should you go? How should I step into this? And when he tell you, you ain't got no business to listen to what man say. Because you can run around here and listen to man say and never fulfill your talents in which he has given you. Because they all up in him. He holding them in captivity, telling you can't do this, you can't do that. But see, what the Hebrew Israelite men didn't understand is the reason why you had to come to this type of land is because you were performing the same way this United States have treated you. Y'all felt that you were doing this. And I felt he knew for sure that he brought you to a land in the way you were conducting yourself toward him. Everything that you see, talking about just raping your women, you was doing the same thing. If you go to this biblical, you can see it. But they ain't going to take you there. They ain't going to precept that. They ain't going to line that. Because they want you deceived. Okay? Romans 3 and 4. Romans chapter 3 and verse 4. It says something about going up. Okay. Let's go to verse 2. Romans chapter 3 and verse 2. Much ever way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. I think I'm in the wrong place. Chapter 3. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. Wrong place. Romans chapter 3, verse 4. Romans chapter 3, verse 4. Romans chapter 3, verse 4. And I'm going up it to 3, and I'm going down it to 4. To 4 and 5. Let's read. For what if some did believe, shall their unbelief make the faith of Yah without effect? Let's say that again. For what if some did not believe? Should their unbelief make the faith of Yah without effect? Yah forbid. Yea, let Yah be true, but every man a lie. As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy saying. In thy saying, and mightiest overcome overcome when thou art judged. In verse 5. But if our unrighteous commend the righteous of Yah, what shall we say? If our unrighteous now commend the righteousness of Yah, what shall we say? They ask you that question. Is Yah unrighteous who taketh venge? I speak as a man. I like that because he told you straight up. He's speaking as a man. So he tell you, I'm speaking as a man, mean out of the flesh. I mean, out of the spirit. I'm finna speak in the natural. I'm saying this in the natural. That's what he said. I speak as a man. And verse 6 says, God forbid. For then how shall God judge the world? Verse 7. For if the truth of Yah has more abound through my lies unto his glory, why, yea, am I also judged as a sinner? See, I like that. He's kind of putting that straightforward. And that's something that the Hebrew Israelite men need to really study. Romans 3, verse 4, 5, 6, and 7. Because believe it or not, you would rather Yah's word be a lie that you may uphold unrighteous through your lies. And that's sad. Because that's exactly the way the prophet is in the wilderness see it on these platforms. I am your worstest enemy on this platform. Your worstest. Because I'm the one that he allowed to see it at the earthly level, spiritual. And I'm created to be the bold one in the midst of this time and season that speaks up against any and everything that does not represent the Most High Yah. So I shall be your worstest enemy. Okay, let's go to Matthew's. Oh, did I not? But I'm just going to have to go to Matthew's, and then I'm going to touch on Deuteronomy 8 and 3, and then that'll be it. I'll be out of here, and I feel so good about this lesson. And the Most High has assured me that it's going to be a lesson that somewhere along the line that someone's going to grab many, and they're going to take heed to it, and they're going to teach this thing in the proper order. And I got down here in Matthew's, but I forgot to put my chapter in my verse, but I'm going to go on. I got it wrote down though. But he answered and said, it is written, man should not live on bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. Now, you have to understand when he said bread alone, okay? You have to understand he meaning anything outside of that does not come out of the mouth of Yah is considered bread to the flesh. It's really mean you getting food for your flesh. You know how Sister Deborah has been on here for months after months telling you to get your flesh under the subjection to your spirit. When he said in Matthews, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. What proceed out of the mouth of Yah is his word for your spirit. Okay? But that bread that you proceeded out of the mouth of man and out of the food that you eat is for your flesh. So you got that feeds your flesh, and you got that feeds your spirit. But the only one that's going to hold you up is every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. So you fighting a losing battle on these devil platforms, listening to all these here deceiving messages that these men are pouring out to you. But the beauty in it all is the Most High Yah gave you that choice to choose who you would serve. If you prefer to choose what comes out of the mouth of man to feed your flesh, that's that bread for the flesh, it's on you. But he said, you don't live on that bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. You're not going to do it because you got to get that fleshly bread under the subjection to your spiritual bread so that you can be fed in the spirit realm. That spirit realm will nourish that fleshly realm. But you haven't reached that destiny since the beginning of Genesis, the year 2020. You're still feeding out of the mouth of man what he's feeding you, and not understanding that you have to feed your spirit man every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. And only one can teach you how to receive that. How he first teaches you is to, if Yah has given you that ear to hear, then that lets you know you got what it takes to hear Yahuwah. Okay? So now it's time to give you the Holy Spirit. And now the Holy Spirit comes in and he teaches you from that ear to hear, which is that spiritual ear. Now you hear the spiritual food of the Most High Yah. Now we go to Deuteronomy 8:3. This is the last verse. Deuteronomy 8:3. Deuteronomy 8:3. Okay, you ready? And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not. Neither did thy father know, that he might make thee known that man doeth not live on bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah doeth man live. So you are dying when you thinking you getting a full meal deal out of the mouth of man. You're dying. You're dying in the flesh, and you're dying in your spirit man, because your spirit man has no light, no oil in its lamp to keep lit, because you allow your darkness to not comprehend your spirit that Yah is willing to abide in, to teach you all things. So here, I love this here, and I love how the Most High did this, because he summed it up. That is beautiful. And it says again, Deuteronomy 8:3, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and feed thee with the mammon which thou knewest not. See, the mammon that they fed was spirit. See, they thought they were feeding their flesh because they had something in their mouths and they would eat. They took it in and it dissolved. They really thought that they were eating flesh, but they were eating spirit food. That nourished the flesh. That's why I was saying to you all, you can get that flesh under subjection by the power of your spirit that Yah reign in. Once you get that spirit in control of your flesh, then you can rule and you can speak things with the power of Yahuwah in you. You see, but you can't speak nothing when you don't got your flesh under the subjection to your spirit. because Yah only can reign in your spirit. His Holy Spirit can, his Ruach can only come in your spirit. His Hamashiach can only come in your spirit. His faith can only come in your spirit. His spirit of truth can only come in your spirit. You know what I'm saying? His brand for his name's sake can only be branded in your spirit. All of this is spirit. So therefore, he gave them mammon, and it was spirit to uphold their flesh. See, all they knew, just like, remember when Jesus, Yeshua's mother, asked them if they had wine. That was never wine, you guys. It was never wine. And even to today, they have manipulated and lied. It was just like this mammon. It was never wine. It was still yet water. But because they had the taste for wine, he gave that which satisfied their taste. But it was water. It never said he converted it to wine. Just because man said, oh, you saved the best for last and called it wine, doesn't mean that Yeshua HaMashiach said it was wine. Even those who filled it up to the brim with water knew that it was what they put it in. But no one else knew. That was the mystery. See, it just shows you how he still did a miracle by giving them what they thought they were given was being given, and they wasn't. And still had the power to satisfy them with what he wanted to give them, which was simply water. But we take it and made it wine. We don't see all the mystery in it, because if you're a student of the Ruach would have taught you that. But they don't want to hear the Ruach either. They don't want to hear the Ruach no more than they want to hear me. So in here, he gave them that, and he said they didn't even know what they was eating. Not even their fathers knew, that he might make it known that man doeth not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Elohim. Let me tell you all, that was so good to my spirit. I just thank the Most High for that. And I'm going to keep this in the folder here so it can be of help to someone else. And I like to thank the Most High Yah for this message. And I hope that it had energized many out there who has been hung up on men being able to have so much power in their words to manipulate women and cause them not to answer their calling in the body of Hamashiach. If you got a calling in the body of Hamashiach, let no man tell you or dictate you how it is to be performed. Yah is bigger than they are. You have to believe that. Most women think because he told them the man then told you supposed to be under me and wait for me. That's just like they said Mary. You can't. The Catholics said they can't get to the God until they come through Mary. That's ludicrous. And that's how much some men teaches things. They line things in that type of order. And just like Christian, that was a setup of man. Men. There's so many different, all these denominations are sets up of men. But women were so put down out of the order. She didn't become nothing but a sex tool and a slave. Okay? She didn't have no anything. So when women were able to live where they had some thought of their own heart, then they got away from it. And even to today, they still at that same level of going through so much, because I do remember him putting in her that she shall love her desire should be up to her husband. And a lot of women take a lot of stuff because of that desire that Yah has put in them. And they don't understand that he did not seal that like he said, or called that a curse like he did with the serpent. And like he said, told the man he would labor all the days of his life, and he put that as a curse. He did not put these things as curses on a woman. Childbearing, nor your desire should be to your husband, because he knew that the husband would turn a lifestyle of a woman into such a thing that is so miserable that how could her love for him be that strong for him, and she following his flesh and his flesh does everything against God, but yet she's following his flesh. So the Most High knows what he's doing and knew what he was doing. So I thank him for not putting a curse on us women for his childbearing. And now you can have a baby and you don't even feel the pain. So I'm just showing you how it wasn't a sealed curse. He didn't seal a curse on us. He said we should love, our desire should be our husband. And that's what it was in the Old Testament. Our love for our husband was more than anything. We slaved. We worked as harder than he did. We had babies and we was right back out. We just did things that was way and beyond because our desire. But as time go on, we still desire our husband to a certain degree. But what is going on now is we have to be more careful now and wanting now since Yeshua came. He has changed many things. And he said, you are a new creature. Old things passed away. And see, what the men don't want is to let go of those old ways. That's why in the year 2020, they can pull out all the feasts and all the days of old and having many wives. They pull those out and try to relive them, but they don't understand. You're walking in that same stiff-necked rebellion, disobedient, gain-setting people that you always were. So you're not going to be able to enter into the New Jerusalem. So I'm just letting them know that now. So Sister Deborah, say that I hope you enjoyed the message because I did. I learned as I was teaching you. And that's how the Most High is also. He don't want you to be able to put nothing forth that you are not getting or receiving from it because it's still in the midst of him. He's still in the midst. So I say unto you, Sister Deborah, says shalom and shalom, and I hope you enjoy.